Good afternoon, dear professor and classmates. My name is Victor Bacasela. Now I'm talking about the cultural dimensions. Cultural dimension that could distinguish one culture from another. Here we can find five items. Number one, individual versus collectivism. Individual people focus on themselves and their personal goals. Example, USA and Western Europe. And the difference that collectivism priority is given to the group, family, community, example Asian and Latin American cultures. Number two, power distance, high versus low. High power distance hierarchies are accepted and power is concentrated in the hand on a few. Example, Asian and Arab cultures and low power distance equality and fair distribution of power are emphasized. Example, Scandinavian countries. Number three, we can find masculinity and versus femininity. Masculinity values such as competitiveness and material success. Example, Japan and Germany. And femininity emphasize on quality of life and human relationship. Examples, Sweden and Norway. I continue explains about the cultural dimension. Number four, uncertainty avoidance, high versus low. High uncertainty avoidance preferred for clear rules and planning. Examples, Greece and Japan. Low uncertainty avoidance, tolerance for ambiguity and flexibility. Example, United Kingdom and USA. And finally, we can find long-term orientation versus short-term orientation. Long-term orientation focuses on persistence and future planning. Example, China and South Korea. And short-term orientation emphasizes on tradition and immediate results. For example, USA and Canada. Here, I'm talking about the intercultural competence. What is the meaning? The ability to interact effectively with individuals from different cultures by understanding their values, beliefs, and communication styles while demonstrating respect, empathy, and adaptability to cultural difference. It's important to apply these rules, but manage diversity and ensure efficient communication. Promotes mutual understanding, prevents misunderstandings, and finally encourages inclusion. Here we can appreciate an example: Ecuador rich cultural diversity, indigenous, Afro-descendant, and mestizo communities. Highlights intercultural competence importance in bringing cultural difference. Now, I'm talking about the difference in communication between high and low context cultures. Here we have two groups, specific high context cultures. We can find communication relies on context. It is indirect and subtly, and emphasis is placed on relationships. And the other group, it is composed about low context cultures. Communication is explicit and indirect. Messages are clear and detailed, and finally the focus on fact. The distinction lies in how meaning is conveyed and understood. Example, high context, Japan or a Quechua community, we practice in our country, a person might say, I'll think about it, or simply smile without confirm attendance, leaving the interpretation to the listener based on tone or cultural context. Unlock context uses or Germany. The response will be direct, such as yes, I will attend, or no, I cannot attend, leaving no room for interpretation. Reasons for miscommunication during intercultural encounters. I have 7 differences that I identify. For example, difference in verbal and nonverbal languages. An American tourist in Ecuador might misinterpret the hand gesture used to call someone as wave goodbye. Number 2, difference in communication expectations. A Japanese individual high context responds with "I'll consider it" to reject a proposal, while a German low context interpret it is a genuine interest. Stereotypes and prejudices. Example, assuming all Ecuadorians speak Spanish disregards indigenous communities like Quichuas, where the primary language is not Spanish. Number four, different time managers. A Canadian expects strict punctuality, while Ecuadorian might arrive 50 minutes late, considering it normal. The Ecuadorian people, really. Here we have 3 reasons for miscommunication during intercultural encounters. I continue talk about the number 5, different perception of personal space. Example, another European feels uncomfortable when a Latin American greets them with a hug, which is seen as a friendly gesture. 6, a lack of cultural knowledge. A foreigner in Ecuador who overlooks the importance of community, Mingas collective works. That is the meaning. The Mingas collective works may generate distrust within an indigenous community. Number 7, different approaches of conflict. The example, an American discusses an issue directly in a meeting, whereas Colombia prefers to postpone it to avoid public confrontations. Now I'm talking about the link between cultural dimension, communication, and intercultural competence. What's the meaning about this topic? Cultural dimension directly influence how people express themselves and understand others. Developing intercultural competence enables EFL students to overcome this difference, facilitating clearer communication within people from diverse backgrounds and reducing misunderstanding. Example, someone from a low context culture might perceive a person from a high context culture as baggy or ambiguous. We can identify many differences about the cultures. And finally, I'm talking about the importance of cultural dimension and intercultural competence for EFL students. It is important understanding cultural dimensions and fostering intercultural competence help students adapt and communicate effectively in global settings, enriching their language learning with real-world experiences. That's all about this topic, dear professor and classmates. I hope this information help us in our learning. Thank you.